All right, in today's section, we're going to be discussing polynomials and factoring polynomials, but I'm going to extend this one step further. We're actually going to factor the polynomial and solve because they're all based on equations. So I'm going to do a couple from the homework, section 4-5, part A. So let's look at something without a coefficient in the front. Let's look at number 4 right here. Let's see what this looks like. A squared. We got a squared minus 8a minus 48 equals, here's the difference from just factoring polynomials. You now have the equals 0. Not much is done differently. You still have to factor. The next step, the last step, will be the one that I will kind of identify to you as something that is brand new from the previous section. So I know that factoring polynomials, there is no coefficient in the front, which I talked about in class. Means this is actually a little bit easier. I go straight to my factoring parentheses here. I know there's only one way to get a squared, and that is a times a. So now I've got to actually look at 48 right here. I've got to look at negative 48, and I've got to decide what factors of 48. Let me list the factors of 48 here. So I've got to keep in mind whatever factors of 48, I've got to make sure that they add up to get negative 8, if that makes any sense. I've just made an absolute mess of my example up here, but you guys get the idea at this point in time. So the easy ones, 48 is 48 and 1. No way I can get to 8 either adding or subtracting these, so that's not going to work. I can go 24 and 2. Again, probably very hard to get to 8 whether I'm adding or subtracting. Let's keep going. There's a lot of factors of 48. If I keep going down, I'll have 12 and 4. Oh, wait a minute, a possibility there. I'm just going to keep going just for the heck of it. I got 6 and 8. I've got, let's see, I've got 3 and 16. Okay, but I think I've found my solution right here. I'm not even sure if that's all the factors of 48. I look right here and I say, wait a minute, 12 and 4. If I could take 12 and subtract 4, that would give me 8. So I'm going to throw those in. We are going to do 12 and 4. And I just got to figure out what my signs are in the middle. I know that I need a negative 48, so one of these, either 12 or 4, is going to be negative. But I look to my negative 8 over here, and I notice that there's a negative sign right here. So I've got, what if I took negative 12 and then added positive 4? That would give me negative 8. So there's my answer. I said, let's take negative 12 and add 4. And that will definitely give me negative 12. So let me work through this. Again, how we test these is you take the last and you multiply those together. Those give me 4a. And then you take the inside and you multiply those together. And that gives me minus 12a, which definitely equals negative 8a. So I got negative 8a there. Negative 8a there. I'm good. One more step. So now I have a minus 12. So let me rewrite. A minus 12. A plus 4 equals 0. In order for this to be equal to 0, either this one or this one has to be equal to 0. That's just the function of multiplying by 0. So I am going to separate them. I am going to a minus 12 equals 0. And I'm also going to do a plus 4 equals 0. Now, you obviously are doing algebra on this, so I'm going to add 12 to both sides. So I have a equals 12, or I'm going to subtract 4, a equals negative 4. And that right there, men, is my answer. Let me go ahead and do another one with a coefficient in the front. I think I have one on, I've only got one on your homework assignment, so let me push through on another slide here. And let's talk about number 7. Number 7 is kind of a multi-step. 7 is 3y squared plus 9y. What is that? Minus 162 equals 0. And I start looking at this, and again, the idea is this. Different from the first one, I have this 3 that's a coefficient in the front of the first term in the polynomial. So first things first, I'm going to ask myself, is there any number that goes into 3, 9, and 162? I'm going to go on a limb, and I'm just going to test it here, but I'm thinking 3 may go into 162. So if I take 160, I'll do it down on the bottom here. 162 divided by 3. We'll do it without a calculator. 3 into 16 goes 5. 5 times 3 is 15. 1 left over. 3 into 12. Oh, perfect. 54. So what I'm going to do is, go back to my white. Actually, let me erase. We'll erase my multiplication, or my division here. Get rid of it. How's that for long division? Been a long time since you've done long division, I'm sure. So what I'm going to do is go back to my problem, and I'm going to take out a 3 out of every one of them. So 3y squared divided by 3 just leaves me with y squared. 9y divided by 3 is 3y. And I know that negative 162 divided by 3 becomes negative 54. Still equals 0. I look to my middle right here, and I can see that we might as well try to factor that, because this is, I just know that that's kind of what we're doing. We're factoring polynomials. And I'm going to start to write the factors of negative 54, or 54 in general. So I know there's 54 and 1. I know there is, let's see, 3 must go in this. 3 and 8, was that 18? 3 and 18. That doesn't give me 3. 54 and 1 doesn't give me 3. But I also know that 9 times 6 is 54 as well. And I start thinking about it, well, wait a minute, I can get a 3 if I look at 9 and 6. So I'm going to throw those in, 9 and 6. Actually, I kind of skipped a step, right? We would put y's in front here, because I know that y times y equals y squared. So I'm good there. I know that 9 and 6 equals 54. Got to think about the negative here real quick. So I've got to put my signs in here. I need a positive 3. So I'm going to assume that with a negative 54. So I'm going to put, just kind of an educated guess, I'm going to put a plus before the 9 and a minus before the 6. And let's see if that works out. So I'm going to multiply the last. Gives me 6y. And then the inside, oh, I'm sorry, that's negative 6y. Whew, almost screwed up. The inside is plus 9y. And I know if I do that algebra right there, I do get positive 3. So there's my answer. 3 times y plus 9 times y minus 6. I say it's the answer, but it's really not. I've got to go back through and decide what y actually is. So again, same idea. Y plus 9 equals 0. And y minus 6 equals 0. So therefore y equals negative 9 or positive 6. Hope that helps. Hopefully you can get through the rest of the homework. I know I look at the homework. There are no others with numbers in the coefficients, so you should be clear to go on factoring. Good luck.